Oh, he's the shove-it man!
Hawkamaniac, so I have no idea what to expect from today's episode of Ring of the Hawk. There's been lots of interest lately on seeing more Curt Hennig Mr. Perfect stuff. Many of you have asked for his brief WWE run in 2002, before the plane ride from hell happened. Many more of you have asked for his brief TNA run straight after that. And that's what we'll be looking at today. But don't worry, his WWE run is coming. This video contains his last ever match, not only in wrestling but in life. So it's a bit of a sad one today, folks. I've no idea where this video is going to rank on the list, but if I don't give it a go, we'll never truly know. Thank you for this suggestion to JJ Tohill Rogers on Patreon, and Alex Young, Walter Marino, and Suri Kamasutra over on YouTube. Nailed it. The Hawk is a man of many talents.
Brother, I once flew from Birmingham to Belfast. Only 10 minutes passed. I didn't even gasp when Starbucks got an iced caramel macchiato, turned around and shoved it straight up your girl's ass.
And of course,
if you know a wrestler who can do the J-O-B to the H-A-W-K any night, any day, ha ha! Drop their name in the comments, Jack!
Alright, let's do it. Curt Hennig, was TNA a good gig, or was he wallowing in turd like a pig? Match 1, the opener, 6-man tag match. The NWA champion Ron the Truth cuts a long promo about D-Generation X. This brings out Pac and Road Dogg. They reveal their mystery partner, and out walks Curt Hennig to a massive ovation from the TNA crowd. Even the cage dancer likes him. He says he doesn't like the Truth. We've got an impromptu match here because Brian Lawler and Jeff Jarrett make a sneak attack. Jarrett and Hennig start out the match. Jarrett seems a bit intimidated though, and Hennig slaps him down. Hennig takes him down with a shoulder block and then smacks the other bad guy's one. Hennig hits a snap mere takeover. The crowd are chanting Jerry's Kid throughout the entire match at Brian Lawler. Truth tries some weird breakdancing move in the middle of the match, but it doesn't go well for him. Road Dogg gets isolated for a very long time before Pac gets the tag, but he doesn't fare too well either. This match is literally just a bunch of guys that the WWE didn't want at that moment in time. Hennig finally gets the tag and he punches the heels down. Road Dogg and Jarrett fight up the ramp with a steel chair. Curt gets hit in the nutsack and super kicked by Lawler. He then hits the hip hop drop from the top, but the pin gets broken up by Pac. Pac has the match won, but Lawler tells the referee don't count that or I'll smack you one. Mr. Wrestling 3, a man in a white hoodie, interferes in the match and hits a powerbomb on Truth. Hennig hits the perfect plex on Truth for the 3. Not a bad match, but Hennig did the least out of the 6 men, and Lawler definitely had him beat. A pretty bad debut, but he did just pin the world champion, so it was good. It was gonna be an F, but I'll make it a D because he won the match for his team. Before the next match, Mike Tenay has a sit-down interview of Curt Hennig. Curt looks 100 years old in this interview, but despite that, he's going for the world title tonight because he's won gold everywhere he's been. Match 2, main event for the NWA TNA Championship. Ron the Truth Killings, the champion, cuts a promo that he was told he could give title shots to the minority wrestlers, and he gets unhappy because he's taking on Curt Hennig instead. Damn, I wanted him to come out to the good old boys. Instead he comes out to, Queen, we are the champions. Hennig also has a microphone and says that nobody likes Truth and he can kiss his ass. Talking of good old boys, someone does have a sign saying rap is crap, so I'm not the only one who remembers his old WCW gimmick. Hennig out-wrestles Truth and puts him in the front facelock. On the outside, Truth throws Hennig into the commentary table, and then he jabs him into the crowd. Hennig gets a chair and hits Truth in the gut and the back. The referee doesn't seem to care, not sure why. Truth fights back by putting something in Hennig's eyes. Truth hits a power slam while some jobbers come out to watch the match. Truth kicks Hennig over a few times and Hennig is slipping everywhere. He's still blinded. Truth floats over in the corner and kicks Hennig over. Curt finally fights back with a knee lift. Then we get one of the most ridiculous ref bumps I've ever seen. Hennig picks R-Truth up, whose legs slightly brush the referee, but he goes down like he was shot. Come on, he hardly touched you. Mr. Wrestling 3 then runs in again and starts attacking Truth. Hennig starts fighting with him and then loads of wrestlers from the back spill into the ring for a big brawl. Some NWA nerds come out who clear the ring. Hennig and Pac seem to be good friends here, but Pac doesn't want to leave for some reason. The match carries on. Hennig slaps Truth, who throws the referee over for some reason. Truth then slaps Borash and the NWA nerds. He gets told he has to go back into the ring or he'll be stripped of his title. On the far side of the ring, Jeff Jarrett hits a low blow on Hennig and Truth covers him for the 3. What an overbooked mess of a match this. This just was not good. Hennig did absolutely nothing, and he still lost. He gets an F. Curt continued to be associated with the Road Dogg, and he comes out of a microphone. He makes fun of DDP for trying to steal his gimmick. Then he takes us on a trip down memory lane and tells us a story about how he beat up Jeff Jarrett when he was a rookie. Then he starts talking about the West Texas rednecks and rap is crap, and the crowd are going nuts. He says Jarrett is trying to steal his gimmick as a country singer. He then tells the camera to zoom in on his face, and he says that he's the guy who took down Brock Lesnar at 30,000 feet. He challenges Jarrett to a match next week and asks if Jarrett knows what he's capable of at Ground Zero. The promos are always more entertaining when it feels like the person is just being them and they're not trying too hard. Highly entertaining so far. Match 3, main event, NWA World TNA Heavyweight Championship. The champion, R-Truth, versus the challenger, Curt Hennig, who runs out and throws his towel at Truth. Hennig hits an atomic drop and snaps Truth's neck. On the outside, Truth throws Hennig onto the commentary table. Truth tries a kick, but Hennig dodges it, and then Truth ends up nutsack first on the guardrail. Truth retaliates by choking him out with a cable. Truth finally gets him back in the ring and hits a leg drop from the middle rope for a 2 count. Truth hits the scissors kick, but he doesn't make a cover. He hits a middle rope fist drop on Hennig. Truth continues messing around instead of trying to put Hennig away. Hennig gets a single leg takedown and puts on the ankle lock, but Truth makes the ropes. Hennig looks like he's going for a pile driver, but instead he does something. Maybe it was a knee, I don't know. Hennig then boots Truth in the nutsack as the two look to have a Rochambeau against each other. Big back body drop by Hennig, and then he throws him into the corner as this match has turned. Suddenly Mr. Wrestling 3 interferes, again, but Hennig takes him out with a knee lift. Hennig tries to unmask him, but the Truth hits him with the brass knuckles, and the referee counts the 3. It was slightly better than the last match, that's for sure. Hennig is certainly entertaining, but the wrestling is a bit off. I'm still giving it a C though. Next up, Jeff Jarrett cuts a promo about how great he is, and Hennig comes out and calls him dumb. He then makes fun of all his gimmicks, like being slapnuts. He accuses Jeff Jarrett of being Mr. Wrestling 3 and says tonight he's going to beat him up. Match 4 for the #1 contendership for the world title. Curt Hennig, who comes out looking like absolute trash, and he's taking on Jeff Jarrett, who hits him with a steel chair before the match. Jarrett hits him with a bad looking stroke and then covers him for the 3. Pretty much ungradable, so shove it. Match 5, Jeff Jarrett, who of course has to cut a promo before the match because he's Jeff Jarrett and he has to bore us all to death. He says he's supposed to be having a big grudge match tonight against Curt Hennig, but nobody's seen him. Jarrett addresses everything that Curt said in his last promo, and he basically says that he's had a more successful career than Curt. It's quite a hard point to debate because Jeff did have more success than Curt, if you count titles, but it was during down periods in the WCW and the WWF mostly. Hennig suddenly appears and looks like he's just walked in off the ranch, and he boots Jarrett in the ribs. They fight in the crowd and Hennig smacks Jarrett with his massive fist. They fight each other with a crutch in the crowd. Curt keeps smashing Jarrett with a chair until the referee finally stops him. Curt hits the referee with it too. I don't blame him. Stupid strike people keep getting involved. They get in the ring and Hennig hits the perfect plex. Not once, not twice, but 3 times, and Hennig certainly wasn't doing lines. The referee DQs him finally and the match is given to Slapnuts. It really was a fun beatdown and it got me invested in the feud. Good stuff, very believable. As far as brawls go, it gets a C. Match 6, NWA World Tag Team Championship. The challengers for the title are the Road Dogg and Curt Hennig, and they're taking on the New Church with Father James Mitchell and Belladonna. Hennig is looking huge here. His back's almost the size of mine. You have to wonder how badly Hennig was abusing the steroids at this point in his life. Curt starts out the match with Slash and beats him back to hell. He then starts working on Brian Lee's lanky legs. He's trying to put on the figure 4, but he's either struggling or Brian Lee's blocking him. Road Dogg and Hennig work together to keep Lee grounded, and they keep making regular tags. Eventually the Dog gets isolated for a very, very long time. Hennig does finally get the tag and he hits a big back body drop on Slash. He also hits the perfect plex, but Brian Lee breaks up the pin attempt. Brian Lee hits a big boot on Road Dogg and he has the cover, but America's Most Wanted suddenly swarm the ring and attack the New Church. Road Dogg and our guy get DQ'd. It was 10 minutes long, but the most interesting thing about it was what's in Belladonna's thong. It gets a D. Curt has a shot to get some revenge next, and he cuts a backstage promo about how Jarrett's good, but he's great. Nothing exactly remarkable. Jarrett also has a backstage interview where he blames Vince Russo for Owen Hart's death. Can't believe some of this stuff that aired in the early days of TNA. Match 7 for the NWA World title. The challenger Curt Hennig, who comes out in a filthy hoodie and keeps trying to make his hair wet for some reason, and he's taking on Slapnuts, who's the champion. Curt gets a bad reaction from the crowd and he looks a bit disappointed. This one feels personal and you can feel the hatred. Hennig certainly has his game face on. Curt tries to boot Jarrett in the nutsack early on. There's a big feeling out process in this match. Jarrett is wrestling as a fan favourite and takes Hennig down with the dropkick. Curt takes him down and then Jarrett blows up with anger and they start fighting outside. Jarrett hits Curt a couple of times with the chair on the crowd barrier. They finally get back in the ring and Hennig starts working on Jarrett's leg. He drags him into the corner and wraps Jeff Jarrett's leg around the post. He then puts on a variation of the Indian Deathlock. It's certainly different seeing him work as a heel now. Jarrett refuses to tap out and he fights out of it. Then he gets to his feet and he hits an atomic drop and an enziguri, and then he sweeps Hennig's legs out. Jarrett catapults Curt into the second turnbuckle and the pad comes off. Then there's another dodgy looking ref bump. Jarrett grabs his guitar but changes his mind because he's apparently a good guy now. Hennig goes for the perfect plex, but Russo rolls in and he starts hitting Hennig with the guitar, but it won't break. Jarrett then wins the match. For intensity and believability, I give it a C. Jarrett pretends he isn't happy about the help he's had from Russo, but knowing him, he probably knew about it. So that's 3 world title matches our guys had, and he was screwed in each one. Curt appears in the crowd on the next show and takes to the ring. He gets the mic and threatens Vince Russo. He says he's run out of beer and he sent Brock Lesnar to go and get him some. He shouts out the plane ride from hell. Mike TNA calls Brock Lesnar a gopher.
I run out of beer in the bus, but I got Brock Lesnar buying me some more at the liquor store.
Curt says that he has a size 24-inch fist. I had no idea fists were measured like that. Is that a thing? Why would he measure his fist unless he's planning on shoving it up Vince Russo's ass? And wouldn't this be a world record anyway? Sonny Liston, I believe, is the boxer with the record to have the world's biggest fist at 15 inches. So there's no way that Hennig's claims are correct. This segment is literally insane. Sports Entertainment Extreme jobbers who are Vince Russo's faction attack Curt Hennig. Road Dogg is on commentary and doing a bad Jim Ross impersonation, shouting out Stone Cold wins and Slobber Knocker over and over again. I mean, it wasn't Ed Ferrara bad, but it was still terrible. I mean, it was incredibly strange, but it entertained me. I mean, I can't make my mind up, I think I loved it. Hennig is pretty hurt and he has to be helped up, but the question is, what is this leading to? I bet it's something good. Match 8, final match. Axe handle on a pole match. What? What happens? The loser gets his hand cut off? Well, they wouldn't be able to cut the hand off, you idiot. It's just a handle, it's not the axe itself. Somebody smack me one. And how the hell did we get here? What is going on? Well, I wish I could explain, but I can't really justify it. The week before, Curt Hennig stopped Vince Russo's SEX faction from beating up members of the NWA roster. It was literally 1-on-7 and he was doing okay until David Flair hit him with an axe. It wasn't just a handle, it was a full axe. In a strange turn, Jeff Jarrett made the save for him with a steel chair. So on to the match. Curt Hennig comes out with a microphone and he continues to make fun of Brock Lesnar.
I got a saying in the wrestling business, and it goes like this. Paying your dues in the wrestling business, $141 million. Being the greatest athlete in sports entertainment, another $67 million. Taking down Brock Lesnar at 35,000 feet, priceless.
And his opponent is David Flair, who tries the sneak attack. This guy just does not look like an athlete. Hennig beats him up on the outside. The commentary say what an appropriate match this is. In what universe is this match appropriate just because Flair hit him with the stupid stick once? I can't believe this is his final match against a scrub like David Flair. It's an insult for him to go out like this, in an axe handle on a pole match. Just let that sink in. The great career he had, and he goes out like this. For some reason, Hennig doesn't climb the pole. He tells a ring boy to go up for him, and then he grabs the pole and gives it to Hennig. Then Hennig hits him with it. Was it put up too high or was he too beat up to reach it? I don't know. Curt then hits David Flair with the axe handle and it's over. The match is an F. David Flair then hits him with a sack, and that's the final appearance of Curt Hennig in wrestling. It felt like it was supposed to be leading to something, but it didn't. Hennig was found dead in his hotel room at the age of 44 a month later. It's creepy that you're watching this final match. You just don't think that this guy could be gone so quickly. It was reported that cocaine, steroids and painkillers were the cause of his death. TNA held a 10-bell salute for him on the next show. So I'll try and keep it brief and serious. We just need to place this guy somewhere in our list. It was only for a couple of months, but he was pretty much a main eventer for the whole time. His matches weren't anything to write home about, but his promos were good. I think a D's fair. A lesser man would have made those matches horrendous, taking into consideration the condition that Hennig was in behind the scenes. But he managed to tough it out, and none of them were that bad. I certainly couldn't live up to the standards of the performance he put on in the condition that he was in. And if you don't agree with that, I'll jab you in the chin.